Welcome to News Around, your trusted window into the luminous yet turbulent world of Turkish celebrities. Before we dive into today's extraordinary story, make sure to subscribe, tap the join button to support our channel, and leave a like so you never miss the truth behind the spotlight. Fame often appears dazzling from afar, but sometimes, beneath the glow of camera flashes, a silent war brews. For actor Yaman, a man celebrated across Europe for his discipline, talent, and relentless charm, that storm was not professional, it was deeply personal. Behind the polished red carpet smiles and carefully crafted interviews lay the emotional debris of a love story that turned into a battle for identity. For years, Yaman's rise seemed unstoppable. His performances embodied both intensity and poise. His name became synonymous with ambition fulfilled. Yet, as his star ascended, those closest to him began to notice something unusual. The sparkle in his eyes had dulled, replaced by fatigue and a strange, simmering unrest. Whispers began to circulate, all pointing toward one woman, Sara. To the public, Sara appeared every bit the perfect match for a man like Can. She was poised, fashion-forward, and irresistibly confident. Magazines lauded her elegance, social media admired her sophistication. But behind that glossy facade lay a web of calculated moves and emotional strategy. She was not driven by romance but by control. Her relationships were ladders, and every rung brought her closer to the world of influence and visibility she craved. Friends of Yaman describe Sara as both magnetic and manipulative. One moment she was tender, offering warmth that felt like home. The next, she was cold, distant, and unreachably silent. This unpredictability, so alluring at first, slowly eroded the foundation of Can's once vibrant spirit. He had fallen not into love, but into dependence. What began as a partnership of equals transformed into a silent struggle for control. Sara determined who he met, where he went, and even how he expressed himself in public. It was a slow suffocation disguised as affection. Friends who dared to speak of it were gently removed from his circle. Family calls grew fewer. The isolation was so subtle that Can barely noticed when his world had shrunk to the size of one woman's approval. Among those who saw through the illusion earliest was his mother, a woman whose intuition never failed. She noticed how her son's laughter no longer reached his eyes, how his energy drained after every encounter with Sara. Her warnings were soft but persistent. She doesn't love you for who you are, she loves the idea of you. Yet, in matters of the heart, reason rarely prevails. Can's devotion blinded him to what everyone else already understood. His silence became the armor that shielded Sara's power. The more his family tried to help, the further he retreated. The actor once admired for his confidence was now a man treading water in his own emotions. Sara's mastery lay not in affection but in manipulation. Emotional dependence is a quiet, invisible chain, it tightens without warning. She dictated the tempo of their connection, bursts of warmth followed by days of detachment. Each withdrawal made him chase harder, desperate to restore the comfort he once knew. Psychologists call it intermittent reinforcement, lovers call it heartbreak. Yaman lived it daily. Even his professional demeanor began to fracture. In photoshoots, his smile looked rehearsed. In interviews, his answers shorter, his eyes distant. Those who truly knew him recognized it as the expression of a man performing a role he no longer believed in. By now, Sara had become omnipresent. At events, her presence hovered beside him like a shadow. She filtered his social interactions, monitored his schedule, and turned what once was mutual admiration into a carefully curated image of the perfect couple. But the perfection was an illusion stitched together with anxiety. Inside, Can's thoughts grew heavy. The man who once thrived in public had begun to withdraw into private stillness. His mind, once a place of creativity and discipline, became a battlefield where love, pride, and confusion collided. The more he tried to hold on, the more his sense of self slipped away. Dear readers, it's a haunting truth. Sometimes the hardest goodbyes begin long before the words are spoken. Every story of control eventually meets resistance. For Yaman, it came not in an explosive argument but in quiet recognition. During a glamorous public event, cameras captured a fleeting but powerful moment, Saar smiling radiantly at the press while Can gazed into emptiness. That vacant look told the entire story of exhaustion and awakening. In the months that followed, Yaman retreated from the media's constant gaze. He stopped granting interviews, shared fewer posts, and spent more time alone. Tabloids called it burnout, but insiders say it was the first step toward recovery. Alone with his thoughts, away from the glitz and noise, Can began to hear a forgotten voice, his own. The turning point came after a long, soul-searching conversation with his mother. That night, instead of defending Saar, Can listened. He listened to stories of his younger self, ambitious, principled, unbroken by doubt. The memories hit him with the clarity of dawn. When morning arrived, he knew what had to be done. He stepped away. From Italy. From endless events. From the noise that had defined his life. For the first time in years, he chose simplicity. Early mornings, family breakfasts, long walks without photographers trailing behind. No red carpets. No rehearsed smiles. Just silence, the kind that heals. While Can quietly rebuilt himself, Saar's influence waned. Invitations grew fewer, her name lost the echo it once had in headlines. Those who had once called her the woman behind the man realized she had been a mirror reflecting only her own ambition. Yaman, meanwhile, was rediscovering a profound truth. Love that suffocates is not love at all, it is possession dressed as passion. His transformation wasn't fueled by revenge or resentment. It was guided by realization. When he looked into the mirror, he no longer saw a man trapped in someone else's story but an individual reclaiming authorship of his life. The actor's return to himself was not loud or publicized. It was gradual, genuine, and rooted in self-respect. Away from the headlines, he embraced the quiet power of solitude. His conversations deepened, his smile regained warmth, and the fatigue that once dulled his aura began to fade. Industry insiders say that Yaman's new projects reflect this shift, roles built on integrity rather than image, on human depth rather than superficial glamour. Those who have met him recently describe a man lighter, freer, almost reborn. It's as if he finally stepped out of the movie he once starred in, only to become the director of his own script. Can Yaman's experience transcends gossip. It is a reflection of modern fame's cruel paradox. Behind every picture-perfect romance lies the risk of losing oneself in performance. His journey reminds us that the greatest victory is not winning someone's heart but reclaiming your own. Saar may have been the storm, but Can was always the sky, vast, resilient, waiting for the clouds to pass. And to our dear viewers at News Around, what do you think about Yaman's awakening? Have you ever witnessed how love and ambition can intertwine so dangerously? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and join our channel for more stories that uncover the real faces behind celebrity headlines. Because here at News Around, we don't just chase the news, we tell the stories that make the stars human again. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for our next exclusive deep dive into the secret worlds of Turkey's most captivating icons. Until then, keep your hearts curious and your minds open. This is News Around, signing off.